Hello, my name is Emma, and in today's video, I am going to teach you two things. The first thing I'm going to talk about in this video is why I think it's very important to learn the bad words of a language. Okay, so these are also known as swear words or curse words, and I'll get to that in a moment. But the first part of this video, I'm going to explain why it's important to learn these words. And in the second part of the video, I'm going to teach you some of the most common swear words. I'm not really going to go over their meaning, just more teach you what they are so you can recognize them. I'm going to talk about other words that we commonly might make a mistake with, that we might say and it will sound like a bad word when we really mean a different word. And I'm also going to give you some alternatives to swear words in case you'd rather use those. So let's do the first part and explain why I think it's very important to learn the bad words. So, what do I mean by bad words? In every language, there are usually a group of words that when you say them, if you say them in front of children, it's considered a big problem, a big no-no. You usually do not use these words at work because if you do, you might get in trouble with your boss or look unprofessional. And they're the words that when you say, people look. So they're the words that often you will get attention if you use. It might be good attention or bad attention, but these are the powerful words in a language. We call them the bad words, or we can call them curse words or swear words. We use all of these three to mean these types of words. We can also use the word curse as a verb. My cousin loves to curse. This means my cousin loves to use bad words. Or I can say, my cousin swears a lot. This means he uses bad words a lot. Sometimes when we're talking about bad words, the words are so powerful in the language that some people don't even feel comfortable saying what they are. So you might hear somebody talk about the F word or the C word. What they're talking about is bad words that they don't feel comfortable saying because in their opinion, they're rude, so they don't want to actually use them. So why should you learn the bad words in a language? Well, first of all, you want to know which words are the powerful words because you want to know if you use these words, what will your audience think? Who you might use these words in front of. And you want to know that people will pay attention when you use these words. So you need to be careful with them. Maybe you want to use them a lot and you want that attention, or maybe you don't want that kind of attention. But the important thing is to know that these are the words when people hear, they perk up and they might look. The bad words in a language are also the words that are the easiest to remember. I can still remember the bad words I learned in Greek, Korean, Chinese, Spanish, and French. They are the words that I remember the most. Even though I spent less time on them, your memory works by remembering things that are either funny or serious. Something with a lot of emotion you tend to remember more. And so when we learn swear words, we actually tend to remember them better than any of the other words in a language. So you also want to know when you are using a swear word that these types of words are not appropriate for children. So if you are a child watching this, I would please ask you not to continue because I will be teaching some of these bad words in the second part of the video. And these words in general are not appropriate for children. If you use these words in front of a child, it can get you in a lot of trouble. I'm going to give you an example of this. I had a friend who moved to Canada. He didn't know the F word was a bad word, so he used it all the time with everybody. Any child he saw, he would say, "Oh, how the F is your day going?" And he'd actually use the word because he didn't know it was a bad word. So it's important to know the bad words because you want to know how to speak to children versus adults. And knowing the bad words will help you with that. They're not appropriate professionally. In the workplace, it depends where your workplace is. Maybe if you work in some places, like my friend worked in a factory, he heard these swear words all the time. But maybe if you work in a school, you won't hear them as much. So if you use these words, you might be seen as unprofessional. You also might want to avoid them when you're talking to certain generations. Younger people often use swear words or bad words a lot more frequently than older people. This is not always true, but in general, a lot of younger people don't see these words as a problem and they use them a lot. And, people, for example, from my grandmother's generation, if I say a bad word, they're not going to like that. So it depends, but in general, the younger generation might use these words more than the older generation. Swear words can tell you a lot about a culture. This is one of the reasons I love learning swear words. When I learned French, a lot of the swear words were religious, and they were very different than the swear words of English. In English, we also have a lot of swear words that have to do with religion, but we also have a lot of swear words that have to do with the human body and how we describe the body or things we do with our bodies. Okay, so think about the bad words in your language. Do they have to do with animals? Maybe they have to do with religion, or maybe they have to do with something totally different. But the words that are considered powerful and bad in a language, they can tell you a lot about the culture because it's very different from culture to culture. Learning swear words is important because it can also help you to avoid an embarrassing situation. You want to know which words are the bad words, so that way you can decide to use them or not, but you won't accidentally use them by mistake. A lot of the times when we're learning a language, we might pronounce something the wrong way and everybody laughs, and then we realize, oh no, I just said a bad word. So learning the swear words will help you prevent an embarrassing situation. Swear words are also so common in movies, in music, in books. They're needed to understand a lot of jokes. I'll give you an example for books right now. I went to the library and there were so many books that had the F word in the title. It's become such a popular title in English that there were, I think, 5 books I saw that just had this word in the title alone. So that shows how common these words are used and how they're gaining popularity. And, we use them a lot in different types of things like music or movies or books. Let me see if there's anything else here. Okay, no. So those are the reasons I think it's important to learn the bad words of a language. Now for the fun part. We are actually going to see what these bad words are and what their polite alternatives are and what words we should be careful saying if we don't want to make it sound like a bad word. Okay, before I begin teaching you the words that are considered bad words in English, I just wanted to apologize if I look a little uncomfortable with some of the words. When I was a kid, I got in so much trouble anytime I used certain bad words that now, even when I say them, they're still powerful to me. So you might notice that when I'm saying them, so don't mind that. I'm also not going to go over the meaning of a lot of these words. And the reason is many of these words have so many different meanings. They can be used in so many different ways, sometimes even grammatically. Some of these words can be a verb, they can be a subject, they can be an adjective, an intensifier. So swear words, they do a lot in a language and they mean so many different things. It would be hard to cover all those different meanings in one video. So let's just look at what the swear words are, which ones we might mispronounce and get in trouble with, and what are some of the polite alternatives if we want to use them. Okay, so you might know this word. It's probably the most common swear word in English. The word is fuck. Fuck. You might hear people say, fuck it, fuck off, fuck. It's a very common word, especially in movies, music, and even in general conversation with people. Now, There are some more polite words people, especially people from an older generation or people who were taught swearing is bad, that they might use. These all are kind of the same, they're used in the same way as fuck, but they're kind of the more polite way. So we have frig, fudge. This is the one my grandmother loves to use. Whenever something bad happens, she says, ah, fudge. I've heard her also say fiddlesticks. Ah, fiddlesticks. And it means what she really wants to say is, ah, fuck, but that's considered a bad word. So she'll say fiddlesticks. And Grandma, if you're watching, I'm sorry, I just said the F word. And that leads me to my next word, the F word. Sometimes we might just call it the F word. You know, you might say, oh yeah, Chris uses the F word all the time. Somebody who doesn't want to say the word fuck will say the F word. We might say effed. So for example, instead of saying fuck off, you might say F off, or that's effed up. Sometimes we talk about F-bombs. An F-bomb just means the F word. So if you hear somebody say, wow, did you see the talk last night on TV? The guy dropped a lot of F-bombs. This means the guy swore a lot. He said the F word, or he said fuck a lot. So the F-bomb means the same thing as fuck. But again, these are the polite ways to say fuck. Now, this word is probably my most favorite word in English, shit. The reason I love this word, and I've actually done a lot of videos on this word, is because there are so many English expressions that use the word shit. So it's common. For people who don't want to use this word, they might say shoot. My brother, for example, he usually says, shoot, I forgot something, or shoot, I'm late for work. Another thing you might say is crap. Ah, crap. I forgot there's a meeting in 10 minutes. Crap. Sometimes we talk about bullshit. When somebody is lying, we might say, that's bullshit. That's not true. But if we don't want to use the word bullshit, we might say BS, which means bullshit. It's actually sort of funny if you think about this from a cultural perspective. A bull is an animal, and shit means poo. So bullshit, for some reason, it's a powerful word in English, but it really just means like cow poo. So I don't know why it's so powerful, but these words are powerful. So shit and fuck are both examples of swear words that have to do with the body or what we do with our body. The next word, damn, has to do more with religion. So damn, again, is a swear word. Damn, or we might say, damn it. It's the same as shit. Ah, damn it. If we don't want to use this word because we think it's rude or, you know, we're worried, we might say darn. Oh, darn, darn it. Okay, now we have another word that has to do with the body. Asshole. We use this as an insult a lot. Oh, that guy, he's an asshole. If we don't want to say asshole because we think it's rude, we might say arse. He's an arsehole. Arse is it's still a little bit rude, but it's more polite than ass. And ass, again, another way to say ass is arse. Now, this is one of those words you got to be careful with pronunciation. I was once at a party with somebody who was learning English, and they said awesome, but the people around them thought they said asshole. So there was almost a fight because of this one mistake and because of the pronunciation, it's similar. So when you're saying awesome, be careful. Make sure you're saying it correctly because otherwise you might sound like you're saying asshole. Okay, the next word is the word piss. Piss. Oh, sorry, I just realized. We'll go back for a moment to this word, shit. So I talked about how awesome can sound like asshole. One of the mistakes a lot of students make is with the word sheet, like a sheet of paper, or a bed sheet. This has the long E, and it's a long word, sheet. Notice my mouth when I say this word, it gets really pulled tight, sheet. So this isn't a bad word, but many students who want to say this word accidentally say this word, shit. The difference in this is the vowel pronunciation. We have a short I here, so notice my mouth is very relaxed when I say this word, and I say it really quickly, shit. Whereas with this word, it's very long, and my mouth is very tight. So I say sheet. So a lot of students have trouble with these two words. Practice your pronunciation of your E's and your I sound, and that will help you from making that kind of mistake. Okay, now the next word I wanted to talk about is the word piss. Piss is very common. I think it's actually more common in British English, but it's also common in Canadian English too. Piss, we sometimes use it like, oh, he's so pissed, he's pissed off. We can use a more polite word, peed or pee. So it's the more polite version of piss. And again, piss has to do with the human body. In English, that's probably why it's a swear word. A lot of our swear words have to do with the human body. We can also use ticked off. It has the same meaning as pissed off, but it's more polite. Oh, she's very ticked off. So now let's look at some other swear words and how we use them. Okay, are you ready for more bad words? Or maybe they're more polite alternatives? Well, the next word is the word bitch. This word has a couple of different meanings in English. One of the meanings of this word is actually a female dog. So when we're talking about breeding dogs and you say, the bitch had a litter of like 12 puppies, that's actually not considered that offensive. But people will still pay attention because the other meaning of bitch is often an insult to women. Now, the thing I wanted to say about this word, and again, bitch has other meanings too. Like you might say, oh, that's bitchin', which means that's awesome. So it's not always a negative word, but it has different meanings. This is what I really want to stress. Many students make a mistake in the pronunciation of bitch and beach. You might ask a student, oh, where are you going? I'm going to the bitch. That'd be a really embarrassing mistake. So the main difference between beach and bitch is beach, we say longer. It's a long E sound. So whenever I make an E sound, my lips get really tight and it's like they're being pulled with a string. So beach. And I smile because it's always fun to go to the beach. Now with this word, bitch, my face is a lot more serious. My lips are looser, but they're smaller. Bitch. So it's a I sound. So we say this a lot quicker. Now, the next word I wanted to talk about is bastard. Bastard. Bastard sometimes is used in a polite way, like if you're watching a movie about the medieval ages and somebody's talking about somebody who has no parents, they might say, no father, they might say he's a bastard. But nowadays it's considered more of a swear word. So we often use this word when we're talking about men. It's often an insult word for men, but again, not always. It has different meanings. But this is the word to be careful about, bastard. Or use it if you want. The main thing is you now know it's a swear word in English. Okay, the next three words, whore, slut, and hoe, all have similar meanings. They're insults to women usually, and they pretty much mean prostitute or sex worker. So it's when you're insulting a woman for her sexuality, you might use whore, slut, or hoe. Sex worker and prostitute are, if you actually want to talk about the job of a woman who works in that kind of industry. You might use these. The thing I wanted to talk about with this word whore is it's really easy to mix up the pronunciation of whore and horror. Horror, like a horror movie. Even I sometimes have trouble with pronouncing these two in very different ways. So I usually avoid saying this, and I like to use the word scary movie or scary instead of horror, because I find when I pronounce it, it sounds like horror. So it's something to be aware of. Okay, remember I talked about how a lot of swear words in English have to do with religion? Hell, Jesus, and God can all be made into swear words. So if you don't want to use the swear word version, what people do sometimes is instead of saying hell, they'll say heck. Heck. Instead of saying Jesus, they might say jeez. And instead of saying God, they might say something like gosh darn it instead of, the other alternative. So again, these are all examples of religious words that can be seen as bad words. Okay, I've put this next word here to illustrate a point. Sometimes in English, a word has many different meanings, and most of the meanings are fine, but you might have a sexual meaning to the word or some other meaning you don't realize. I wanted to point that out with this word head, because I've heard many students in awkward and embarrassing situations because of the way they use this word. So the three meanings of head I wanted to talk about quickly is we have this is a head. This is my head. That's the one you probably know. We also have it where it means the leader, the head of the company, the leader of the company. There's also a third meaning that has it's a sexual meaning. I won't explain what it is, but it's just something to be aware of. With some English words, they might have another meaning. And the way you know what somebody means is by listening very closely to the context the word is used in. Okay, this next word is probably one of the most powerful words, at least in American and Canadian English. It's so powerful, I can't even say this word. So I'm just going to point to it. Again, this is something I can't say. So this is considered a bad word. Instead of saying this word, what I might say is the C word, because this word is so powerful and so strong. In other areas, I think like, for example, in Australia or in England, I believe it's still considered a bad word, but it's not as strong of a word as in North America. If you say this word, people will really look at you, and it's probably, again, the most powerful of the words on this list. The last word I wanted to talk about, I'm not going to say what the word is, because this word is considered very controversial, and there's a lot of history with this word. But I just wanted to raise your awareness. There is a word that is so strong in English, we actually will just call it the N word. So the N word is considered a very racist term used to describe a group of people. Now, it's very controversial because you might hear it in music or you might hear it in movies, but I just wanted you to know that with this word, you got to be, like, I would never use this word, for example. It's such a powerful and strong and considered negative word by a lot of people that I just wanted to let you know that there is a word in English that is considered very strong, and you really need to be careful about it, okay? So if you want to find out more about this word, you can read up on it. But I wanted to say it's such a powerful word in English, even I won't use it in this lesson. So we've covered a lot of great bad words or great swear words, depending on your opinion. Again, the point of this lesson is to raise awareness of what these words are and to give you a choice. I think it's important for us to be able to express ourselves the way we want. So whether you want to express yourself by using bad words or by avoiding bad words, now you know what the bad words are, and now you can make that choice so you can represent yourself the way you want to be represented. So thank you so much for watching. I know we covered a lot of things in this video, so I appreciate you watching it and thinking about what I'm talking about. I wanted to invite you to take our quiz on what you have learned in this video. If you go to www.engvid.com, you'll find the quiz there, and I'll go over some of these vocabulary words and their meanings and how we use them. I would also like to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have a lot of different videos on different topics. For example, if you want to learn more about expressions with the word should in it, I have a lot of videos on that, along with other topics, vocabulary, slang, etc. So feel free to subscribe to my channel. Just don't forget to ring the bell, because when you ring the bell, you will get notifications of what new videos are coming out. I also would like to invite you to check out my website at www.teacheremma.com. There you can find some free materials, as well as you could subscribe and get other English resources. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.